let's talk about the technology adoption lifecycle. In this video, we'll look at what it is and how understanding it could help you. The technology adoption lifecycle model describes the acceptance or adoption of a new product or innovation across several defined demographic groups. The technology adoption lifecycle model evolved from an earlier model called the Diffusion Process. This was originally published in 1957 by Boland, Beal and Rogers at Iowa State University and was specifically devised in relation to agriculture and home economics. The original purpose was to track and understand the purchase patterns of hybrid seed corn by farmers. The three developed a model called the Diffusion Process, and Rogers subsequently expanded on this in his book Diffusion of Innovations, where he explores how new ideas and technologies spread in different cultures. The process of adoption over time is illustrated as a normal distribution or bell curve. The model defines the first group of people to use a new product as innovators, followed by early adopters. Next come the early and the late majority, essentially what have become to be known as the mass market. And finally, we have the last to adopt a product, whom we refer to as laggards. The demographic profiles of each adoption group are originally related to farmers, but I'll use more relevant terminology. So innovators then, these are tech savvy and looking for cutting edge ideas. Our early adopters are the visionaries and they're looking for a breakthrough. The early majority are more pragmatic and they're looking for an improvement. The late majority are more conservative and they believe generally in tradition. And last of all, we have our laggards. And these are the skeptics who aren't actually looking for anything. The model has given rise to many adaptations that extend the concept or relate it to specific areas. In his later book, Crossing the Chasm, Geoffrey Moore suggests that for discontinuous or disruptive innovations, there is a gap or chasm between the first two adopter groups, so that's the innovators and the early adopters, and the early majority. Key to influencing product adoption is to understand that people's behaviours are influenced by their peers, and also how widespread they think a particular action is. With technology, there's often a payoff for using the same kind of technology or format as friends or colleagues. For example, being on the same telephone network can reduce costs for both parties. In summary then, the technology adoption lifecycle describes the acceptance of technology across 5 demographic groups. These are innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and laggards. The model is used to understand how new technology will be accepted and adopted. And finally, it's based around the fact that people are influenced by their peers. So how can you use this in your world?